the Middle East, a land of shimmering deserts, ancient cities, and the echoes of civilizations past. It is a region woven into the very fabric of human history, a cradle of empires and religions. From the fertile valleys of Mesopotamia to the bustling marketplaces of ancient Egypt, the Middle East has long been a crossroads of culture and commerce. The birth of writing, the development of law codes, and the rise of monotheistic faiths all trace their origins back to this pivotal region. The Middle East, however, is not merely a repository of ancient wonders. It is a region very much alive, pulsing with a vibrant present and an uncertain future. Its strategic location, linking Asia, Africa, and Europe, has made it a coveted prize for empires throughout the ages. The ebb and flow of conquerors, from Alexander the Great to the Ottoman Turks, has left an indelible mark on the region's cultural and political landscape. Each empire brought its own language, religion, and customs, layering complexity upon complexity. The legacy of this tumultuous past is evident in the intricate tapestry of cultures and ethnicities that make up the modern Middle East. Arabs, Persians, Turks, Kurds, and numerous other groups coexist within its borders, each with its own distinct identity and aspirations. This diversity, while enriching, has also been a source of tension and conflict. The collapse of the Ottoman Empire in the aftermath of World War I saw the arbitrary drawing of borders by colonial powers, further exacerbating existing divisions. Today, the Middle East remains a region of immense strategic importance. Its vast reserves of oil and natural gas have made it an energy powerhouse, crucial to the global economy. Control over these resources has often been at the heart of regional rivalries and international power struggles. Understanding the complexities of the Middle East, its history, and its present-day challenges is essential for comprehending the dynamics of global geopolitics. The Middle East has been a crossroads of empires for millennia. Control over its trade routes and resources has been a coveted prize throughout history. From the ancient Persians to modern superpowers, the struggle for dominance continues. This has shaped the region's political landscape and present-day realities. The Ottoman Empire ruled for over 6 centuries, leaving a lasting legacy. Their influence is evident in architecture, culture, and legal systems. The decline of the Ottoman Empire created a power vacuum. European colonial powers carved up the region, often ignoring cultural boundaries. This left lasting scars and fueled instability. The discovery of oil added complexity to the region's geopolitics. Control over oil reserves became a key factor in international relations. The Cold War further intensified geopolitical struggles. The legacy of these rivalries continues to shape the region today. The discovery of oil in the Middle East in the early 20th century irrevocably transformed the region, catapulting it to the forefront of global geopolitics. This black gold, hidden beneath the seemingly barren sands, held the promise of immense wealth and power, attracting the attention of global powers and forever altering the destiny of the Middle East. The impact of this discovery was profound, shaping not only the economies of the region, but also its political landscape, social structures, and relations with the wider world. The Middle East holds the world's most significant proven oil reserves, concentrated in a handful of countries along the Persian Gulf. Saudi Arabia, with its vast reserves and production capacity, emerged as a leading player in the global oil market. Other countries, such as Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, and the United Arab Emirates, also possessed substantial reserves, making the region a pivotal energy hub. The sheer scale of these reserves, coupled with the increasing global demand for oil, made the Middle East a region of paramount strategic importance. The discovery of oil brought about a dramatic economic transformation in many Middle Eastern countries. Oil revenues fueled rapid economic growth, particularly in the Gulf states, leading to the construction of modern cities, infrastructure development, and improved living standards for many. However, this economic boom often came at a cost. The reliance on oil exports created a dependence on fluctuating global prices, making these economies vulnerable to economic shocks. The concentration of oil wealth in the hands of ruling elites and the lack of economic diversification in many oil-producing countries exacerbated existing social and economic disparities. While some benefited immensely from the oil boom, others remained mired in poverty, leading to social unrest and political instability. The unequal distribution of oil wealth within and between countries fueled regional tensions and contributed to the rise of authoritarian regimes seeking to maintain control over these valuable resources. Oil, with its immense economic value and strategic importance, has become more than just a commodity in the Middle East. It has evolved into a potent economic and political weapon, wielded by both regional and global powers to advance their interests. The control over oil production and distribution routes has been a source of geopolitical maneuvering, shaping alliances, fueling conflicts, and influencing global energy markets. The oil embargo imposed by Arab oil-producing countries in 1973 in response to Western support for Israel during the Yom Kippur War demonstrated the significant leverage that oil-rich nations could exert on the global stage. The embargo sent shockwaves through the global economy, leading to oil shortages, soaring prices, and highlighting the West's vulnerability to disruptions in Middle Eastern oil supplies. This event underscored the critical role of the Middle East in global energy security and emboldened oil-producing nations to leverage their resources for political ends. The strategic importance of Middle Eastern oil has made the region a focal point of international competition. Global powers, seeking to secure their energy supplies and maintain their economic and political influence, have engaged in a complex web of alliances and rivalries in the region. The United States, heavily reliant on Middle Eastern oil, has long maintained a strong military presence in the region, seeking to protect its interests and ensure the free flow of oil. Other global powers, such as Russia and China, have also sought to expand their influence in the Middle East, recognizing the strategic importance of this energy-rich region. Russia, a major oil and gas producer itself, has sought to forge closer ties with oil-producing countries in the Middle East, offering military support and economic cooperation to counterbalance U.S. influence. China, with its rapidly growing economy and insatiable demand for energy, has become increasingly reliant on Middle Eastern oil imports, making it a key player in the region's energy landscape. The competition for influence in the Middle East has often played out in the context of regional conflicts and proxy wars. External powers have provided support to different sides in these conflicts, often with the aim of securing access to oil resources or preventing rivals from gaining a strategic advantage. This interference has further destabilized the region, fueling cycles of violence and hindering efforts to find peaceful solutions to long-standing conflicts. While oil has brought immense wealth to some Middle Eastern nations, it has also been a double-edged sword, often referred to as the resource curse. The dependence on oil revenues has created a number of challenges for these countries, hindering economic diversification, fueling corruption, and undermining democratic institutions. The abundance of oil wealth has often discouraged governments from investing in other sectors of the economy, such as manufacturing, agriculture, or tourism. This over-reliance on oil exports has left these economies vulnerable to fluctuations in global oil prices, leading to economic instability and hindering long-term economic growth. When oil prices decline, as they have done periodically, these countries face significant economic challenges, with reduced government revenues, unemployment, and social unrest. The concentration of oil wealth in the hands of a few has also exacerbated existing inequalities and fueled corruption. In many oil-rich countries, a small elite, often connected to the ruling families or political elites, controls a disproportionate share of the country's wealth. This concentration of wealth has created a system of patronage and cronyism, where loyalty to the ruling class is rewarded and meritocracy is undermined. Corruption flourishes in such environments, diverting resources away from essential public services and hindering economic development. The resource curse has also had a detrimental impact on democracy and human rights in many oil-rich nations. Authoritarian regimes often threatened by calls for greater political participation and transparency, have used oil revenues to suppress dissent, strengthen security forces, and maintain their grip on power. The lack of accountability and transparency in the management of oil wealth has further eroded public trust in governments and hindered the development of democratic institutions. Middle Eastern countries are diversifying their economies, reducing oil dependence, and investing in education, technology, and entrepreneurship. The UAE and Saudi Arabia lead with ambitious plans like Vision 2030, focusing on sectors like tourism, renewable energy, and technology. The region's future depends on bold reforms, sustained commitment, and embracing new economic models. Few conflicts are as complex and intractable as the Arab-Israeli conflict, a Gordian knot of historical grievances, religious differences, and political maneuvering. At its heart lies the struggle for land and self-determination between Israelis and Palestinians, a conflict that has claimed countless lives. The roots of the conflict can be traced back to the late 19th century, with the rise of Zionism. The Zionist movement gained momentum after the Holocaust, as Jews sought to create a homeland in their ancient biblical land. However, Palestine was already inhabited by a large Arab population, creating a conflict over land and resources. The 1947 UN partition plan proposed dividing Palestine into two states, but was rejected by Arab leaders, leading to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The war resulted in Israel's victory and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, creating a refugee crisis. Subsequent wars in 1967 and 1973 further entrenched Israel's military dominance and expanded its territory. The Palestinian territories have been under Israeli occupation since 1967, with settlements expanding into the West Bank. The Palestinian Authority, established in 1994 as part of the Oslo Accords, exercises limited self-governance in parts of the West Bank. The collapse of the Camp David peace talks in 2000 and the subsequent Second Intifada led to a period of intense violence. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not merely a bilateral issue, but one with regional and global implications. It has fueled extremism, polarized public opinion, and hampered regional cooperation. The conflict has also been a source of tension between the West, seen as supportive of Israel, and the Arab and Muslim world. Finding a just and lasting solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a top priority for the international community. Section 2 Fault Lines, the Sunni-Shia Divide. The Middle East is divided by political borders and religious differences, notably between Sunni and Shia Muslims. Sunnis believe leadership should have passed to Abu Bakr, while Shias believe Ali was the rightful successor. This disagreement led to a schism, resulting in two distinct branches with unique practices and political structures. The divide has been exacerbated by political rivalries and regional power struggles. Bridging this divide requires addressing political and economic grievances, promoting dialogue, and fostering tolerance. Section 3 Syria Crucible of a Regional Proxy War. The Syrian civil war, now in its second decade, is a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and regional proxy wars. What began in 2011 as peaceful protests against Bashar al-Assad escalated into a brutal civil war. The conflict involves multiple actors with their own agendas. The Assad regime, backed by Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, has been accused of severe human rights abuses. The opposition, supported by Western powers, Turkey, and Gulf states, faces internal divisions. The war has become a proxy battlefield for regional rivalries, with Saudi Arabia and Iran vying for influence. Russia's intervention in 2015 tipped the balance in favor of the Assad regime. External involvement has prolonged the conflict and hindered peace efforts. The war has had a devastating impact on Syria and the region. Millions of Syrians have been displaced, seeking refuge in camps in neighboring countries. The refugee crisis has strained resources and fueled social tensions. The conflict has allowed extremist groups like ISIS to thrive. ISIS seized control of territory, committing atrocities and inspiring global terrorist attacks. While ISIS has lost territory, its ideology and remnants continue to pose a threat. Section 4. Yemen, a forgotten war, a human tragedy. Yemen's conflict, often overlooked, has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Millions face starvation, disease, and displacement. The roots trace back to the Arab Spring in 2011, leading to President Saleh's ouster and a power vacuum. In 2014, Houthi rebels seized Sana'a, escalating the conflict. Saudi Arabia intervened in 2015, fearing Iranian influence, worsening the humanitarian crisis. The UN calls Yemen the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The Kurds, an ancient ethnic group with a distinct language, culture, and history, have long aspired to have a state of their own. However, their aspirations have been repeatedly thwarted by historical circumstances, political machinations, and the opposition of regional powers, leaving them as a nation without a state, scattered across the borders of Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria. The Kurdish question, a complex and often tragic tale of struggle for self-determination, remains one of the unresolved issues in the Middle East, with implications for regional stability and international relations. The United States has been a dominant force in the Middle East for decades, driven by strategic interests, energy resources, and combating terrorism. The U.S. relationship with Israel has been a cornerstone of its policy, while ties with Saudi Arabia focus on security and energy. The 2003 Iraq invasion destabilized the region, leading to the rise of ISIS and ongoing conflict. Recent administrations have shifted towards diplomacy, but tensions remain. While the US has long been the dominant external power in the Middle East, Russia, under Vladimir Putin, has reasserted itself, challenging US hegemony and securing its strategic interests. Russia's intervention in Syria marked a turning point, reshaping the geopolitical landscape. Its energy diplomacy has strengthened ties with OPEC countries, creating a more multipolar regional order. Russia's resurgence challenges US dominance, adding complexity to an already volatile region. While external powers have long played an outsized role in the Middle East, regional actors have also been actively shaping the geopolitical landscape, pursuing their own interests, forging alliances, and engaging in fierce competition for influence. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran has been a defining feature of Middle Eastern geopolitics for decades, with both nations supporting different factions in regional conflicts. Saudi Arabia, with its vast oil wealth and close ties to the US, has long been a dominant force, while Iran promotes its revolutionary ideology and supports Shia groups. Turkey and Israel also play significant roles, with Turkey reasserting its influence post-Arab Spring and Israel focusing on countering Iranian influence and maintaining security. The specter of terrorism has haunted the Middle East for decades, casting a long shadow over the region's political landscape. From Al-Qaeda's rise in the 1990s to ISIS's emergence post-Iraq invasion, extremist groups have exploited regional fault lines. Al-Qaeda, founded by Osama bin Laden, became a global threat with the 9/11 attacks. The US invasion of Iraq in 2003 created a power vacuum, leading to the rise of ISIS. ISIS declared a caliphate, imposing brutal rule and carrying out atrocities. By 2019, ISIS lost its territory, but its ideology remains a threat. The Middle East stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain, its geopolitical landscape in constant flux. Old orders are crumbling, new alliances are forming, reshaping the regional balance of power. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran continues, with both vying for influence. The Syrian civil war has created a humanitarian catastrophe, displacing millions. the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains unresolved, with peace seeming elusive. The Abraham Accords represent a significant breakthrough in regional relations. The Middle East faces a future fraught with uncertainty, but also potential for transformation. The Middle East, home to the world's largest oil reserves, has long been the epicenter of global energy markets. The region's energy exports have fueled global economic growth, shaping international relations and impacting billions worldwide. OPEC, dominated by Middle Eastern producers, has played a pivotal role in shaping global oil prices and supply. Despite new producers like the US, the Middle East remains crucial for global energy, especially for growing Asian economies. The strategic importance of Middle Eastern energy has made energy security a top priority for many countries. The economic impact of the Middle East extends far beyond its role as an energy supplier. Oil wealth has fueled rapid growth, transforming desert towns into metropolises and attracting foreign investment. However, growth is uneven, with some areas struggling with poverty and inequality. Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar have seen remarkable transformations. They invest in infrastructure, tourism, and technology to diversify their economies. Dubai symbolizes the region's economic potential. Other countries face significant economic challenges. Egypt, Jordan, and Lebanon grapple with unemployment, poverty, and instability. Diversification, job creation, and investment in education are crucial. The region's fortunes are linked to global markets and geopolitical developments. Fluctuations in oil prices and political instability impact investment and trade. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupted economies, reducing oil demand and impacting tourism. The Middle East's future depends on navigating a changing global landscape. Technological advancements, climate change, and geopolitical shifts create opportunities and challenges. Investing in renewable energy, diversifying economies, and fostering cooperation are key for sustainable growth. The Middle East is a region in flux, characterized by economic development, political uncertainty, and social change. Vast oil wealth fuels modernization, but uneven development and political instability create challenges. Despite challenges, the region has significant potential for economic growth. A young population, energy resources, and strategic location are key assets. Addressing political instability and governance issues is crucial for attracting investment. The Middle East faces complex challenges requiring coordinated efforts from regional and international actors. Global cooperation is essential for addressing conflicts, promoting development, and building a stable future. Diplomacy and humanitarian assistance are crucial for peace and stability. Economic development and opportunity address underlying grievances fueling instability. Investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure empowers people and improves living standards. International financial institutions support economic development with loans and technical assistance. Addressing terrorism requires a multi-pronged approach beyond military solutions. Promoting tolerance and addressing root causes of radicalization are crucial for combating terrorism. The Middle East stands at a crossroads, facing challenges and opportunities. Vision, leadership, and cooperation are needed for a peaceful, prosperous future. By working together, the international community can help the Middle East navigate its challenges, building a more hopeful future for all its people. The Middle East today stands at a crossroads, a region teeming with both immense promise and perilous uncertainty. The echoes of ancient civilizations reverberate amidst the skyscrapers of modern cities, a testament to the region's enduring legacy as a cradle of human history and culture. Yet, the shadows of conflict, political turmoil, and economic disparities loom large, threatening to overshadow the aspirations of millions seeking peace, prosperity, and a brighter future. The long-standing conflicts that have plagued the region, from the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to the ongoing wars in Syria and Yemen, continue to inflict untold suffering, displace millions, and fuel a cycle of violence and instability. The rise of extremist groups, exploiting the chaos and desperation, has added another layer of complexity, posing a threat not only to the region but also to global security. The deep-seated sectarian divisions, exacerbated by political rivalries and external interference, further complicate the path to peace and reconciliation. Despite these challenges, there are glimmers of hope emerging from the shifting sands of Middle Eastern geopolitics. The Abraham Accords, a historic breakthrough in regional relations, have normalized ties between Israel and several Arab states, creating new opportunities for cooperation, dialogue, and economic partnerships. The winds of change sweeping across the region, driven by a young and connected population yearning for progress and a greater say in their future, offer a glimmer of optimism. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting the forces of peace, stability, and development in the Middle East. Diplomacy, dialogue, and a commitment to multilateral solutions are essential for addressing the root causes of conflict, promoting human rights, and fostering an environment conducive to economic growth and prosperity. Investing in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and job creation will empower people, particularly the region's youth, to become agents of positive change and build a brighter future for themselves and their communities. Across the Middle East, a palpable sense of change is in the air, driven by a confluence of factors that are reshaping the region's social, political, and economic landscape. The Arab Spring uprisings, though ultimately falling short of their initial promise for democratic transformation, have left an indelible mark on the region's psyche, igniting a yearning for greater freedom, accountability, and good governance. The region's demographics are also undergoing a profound transformation, with a burgeoning youth population, more connected and tech-savvy than previous generations, demanding a greater voice in shaping their future. This demographic bulge, if harnessed effectively through education, job creation, and political participation, could unleash a wave of innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic growth, transforming the region's prospects. The global energy landscape is also undergoing a significant shift, with the rise of renewable energy sources, such as solar and wind power, and the growing momentum behind the transition to a low-carbon economy. This shift presents both challenges and opportunities for the Middle East, long dependent on its oil and gas exports. While the transition away from fossil fuels will require economic diversification and adaptation, it also creates opportunities for the region to become a leader in renewable energy production and sustainable development. The Middle East's strategic importance, located at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, remains undiminished, making it a key hub for global trade, transportation, and energy flows. The region's potential to serve as a bridge between East and West, fostering economic partnerships, cultural exchange, and dialogue, remains significant. Realizing this potential, however, will require overcoming long-standing divisions, promoting regional cooperation, and building trust among nations. The Middle East, for all its complexities and contradictions, remains a region of enduring global significance, its destiny intertwined with the broader currents of human history. Its ancient civilizations, birthplace of major religions, and vast energy resources have shaped the world we live in today. Understanding the Middle East, its history, its cultures, its challenges, and its aspirations is essential for comprehending the forces shaping our world and for navigating the complexities of the 21st century. The region's geopolitical landscape, long characterized by conflict, rivalry, and external interference, is in a state of constant flux, offering both risks and opportunities. The rise of new powers, the shifting alliances, and the evolving nature of global threats demand a nuanced and adaptive approach to foreign policy, one that prioritizes diplomacy, cooperation, and a commitment to peaceful solutions. The Middle East's economic potential, fueled by its energy resources, its strategic location, and its young and dynamic population, remains vast. Unleashing this potential, however, will require addressing the region's persistent challenges: poverty, inequality, corruption, a lack of opportunity, and the need for economic diversification. Investing in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and entrepreneurship, while promoting good governance, transparency, and the rule of law, will be crucial for creating a more prosperous and equitable future for all. The Middle East's rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions represents a unique and invaluable asset, fostering creativity, innovation, and a spirit of resilience. Promoting intercultural dialogue, understanding, and respect is essential for bridging divides, overcoming stereotypes, and building a more peaceful and inclusive world. The Middle East, with its long history of cultural exchange and its position at the crossroads of civilizations, has the potential to play a leading role in fostering global understanding and harmony.